Hello, good evening, and welcome to episode 6 of Working It Out with Damian Micheal. And of course, this is your host with the most, King Damian Micheal Williams. I'm so glad that you decided to be a part this evening. You could have been anywhere else, but you're here with us, and I thank you. We thank you. Hey, to my viewers, how you doing? You all right? You making it through? I hope you know you have the power to pursue forward. It could be rough sometimes, trust me, I know. Especially dealing with the things that you and I deal with. We're particular kind of people. Beautiful, but particular. But in all things, we are yet beautiful. Today's show, our topic is, of course, mental wellness and also self-care. Within the African American community, also including LGBTQ plus and all people abroad. We love you and we appreciate you. And before I go any further, this month, the month of March, is Women's History Month. And who I want to bring to you today, the woman of choice for today is Madam C.J. Walker. Madam C.J. Walker was an African American entrepreneur, philanthropist, and political and social activist. She is recorded as the first female self-made millionaire. That means you can do it too. In America in the Guinness Book of World Records. Multiple sources mention that although other women might have been the first, their wealth is not as well documented. Walker made her fortune by developing and marketing a line of cosmetics and hair care products for Black women through the business she founded. Madam C.J. Walker is a manufacturing company. So Madam C.J. Walker, we love you, we speak your name, and we celebrate you. Thank you. Without any further ado, I'm so excited. One of my fellow kings and brothers who is just absolutely amazing in his presence, in his being, in his delivery, in his business mind, great worth ethics, well spoken. Of course, I have to talk about it's a fellow king, so I have to talk about him real good, because contrary to belief, we are educated people, well educated people, well versed. This particular king that I'm speaking of is none other than Salim Singleton. And he is a men's beauty and skincare advocate. He is a content producer and writer. Without any further ado, King Salim, how are you? Welcome.
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to have you here. We're excited. I've been waiting for this show, been waiting to ask you. And when I finally got a green light, I said, all right, because I want the world to know about King Salim. I mean, because, brother, you have a way to it's so in your face. It has a crown, it has boldness, but yet it has a sensitive side to it to where it's tangible for all.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate that. I take my own personal tips. Trust me, I'm writing down tips. Keep this chocolate right. You know what I'm saying? But how are you today?
I'm good. I'm feeling good. Thank you. How about yourself?
I'm well. My sinuses of all days decided to act up, and hey, but we press through. That's what we do.
Show day.
Oh yeah. It's all in day's work.
Hmm.
But it's worth it. It's worth it because we're here now.
Yes, we are.
So I wanted to start off by asking you if you would share with our viewers who is Salim Singleton.
Well, I'm born and raised in South Philly. First of all,
Okay.
all day, every day. I'm from Tasker Projects. And I'm a dreamer. I'm always an artist first. Always that same little boy who was able to use his imagination to survive, to create, it fed me and it sustained me, and that's who I am today. I'm a person who's able to take you know a little bit and make it work. So with that being said, in terms of beauty, I'm a content creator. I'm a writer, and I believe, I consider myself to be an advocate for men's beauty and skincare. It's something that I've always been involved in. First, as a customer out of necessity, as a teenager, having
Hmm.
insecurities and skincare issues, and then it just became something that was very much associated with me in my neighborhood and amongst my friends, like just the skincare and the beauty part of it. Um, and now I live in Brooklyn, New York. I'm doing this for a living, that being writing about beauty and skincare and the intersection with culture. And I'm really excited this year to dive deeper into that. And that's who I am as of today.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, of course, one of the things, because you know me, I'm so affirming, you know, black affirming,
Mm-hmm.
powerful, reminding all of us that we are beautiful, powerful people. So, my first question to you, when and what was the turning point when you begin to see the beauty within yourself?
Um, it probably was when I started to get attention from other people. I like to say maybe one of the first times I probably recognized it is when someone else told me I had a nice smile, and I was way into college. Well, that was my first year of college, but it was way
Hmm.
into my, I wasn't a child, but
Right,
growing up in Philly, at least at that time, it wasn't like a regular thing to go around smiling at people. So I definitely wasn't smiling in photos. It wasn't a part of my expression. So when somebody told me I had a nice smile, being from Philly and going to school in Alabama, and somebody telling you, a black woman telling me that I had a beautiful smile, I'll always remember that because it's the first time I ever heard it. And he
wow.
started saying all this other stuff, and it was the first time I ever heard these things about myself. And I
Mm,
think I will say this: I always wanted to maintain whatever it is she saw in me. I always wanted to maintain that, whatever that was. And I guess that's probably why I'm here today. Not just
so I
physically,
would,
of course.
right, right. So was that you were about like 19, 20 when you first heard that?
Yeah.
And so my next question is, wow, why do you think it's so rare for African American men to hear that or to even believe that?
Well, first of all, the word itself is gender, right?
Okay,
Because
there
we
we
get
go.
like, you're handsome. No, you're not. You're not beautiful. You're handsome, which is like not. Those things aren't parallel. You know what I mean? But
Right.
language is language, so we can't
Hmm.
fault language. So I think that's the first thing. It's cultural. It's not a word that
That part. It's the
applies
C word.
to men, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
then when you get to the black piece, obviously you deal with a whole lot of other cultural isms and and traditions, right? So you can't talk about it without talking about that. It's culture on the broader level and as black people.
Right.
It's just not a
Hmm.
word that we traditionally have applied to men. We apply it to positive things, right? Like, this was a beautiful day. Like, wow, this house is beautiful. That's a beautiful car. But we just won't do it with men, right? So I think that's the biggest.
Exactly.
That's where we have started, and I think only now we're getting to a place where, and then we got to look at it in the sense where it's not just queer men who are breaking away from that black male prison. You know what I'm saying? Of
Right.
just having to only be this. So that's how I feel about it.
Awesome. Awesome. And one of the things that it hits a tender spot with me. because, of course, as you know, I refer to all of my fellow kings as beautiful kings.
Yes.
And I've had, brothers say, thank you so much, but please don't call me beautiful. I said, okay. Out of respect, of course, I'll stop. But of course, knowing me, I push the envelope. So I'm like, why is it that you reject beauty
Mm-hmm.
when you are that? Why do you reject truth? You know, because for so long, men, especially in the society that was built for us, if I may, men were only taught to work, make money, make babies, marry if they wanted to, and that was it. As far as tending to self
And and
or to,
and overperform masculinity.
oh yeah, we can't forget that now. Of course, you got to learn how to spit, and be masculine and bob and weave. What up, bro? Which to me it takes so much to do that
Right.
because, and I'll even take it here. A good friend of mine, we were out and about and we saw what society calls an effeminate man. And he was walking, doing his thing. He was feeling himself, shaking it to the east and the west, doing his
Mm-hmm.
thing. And my friend at that time went on this tangent. I can't stand effeminate. Oh, I said, wait a minute, pause. I said, first of all of these names are only labels, number one. Because really, if you want to go there in the realms of human sexuality, if you do your research, there are no labels.
Right.
So, it just that mindset is everywhere.
It's
So, yes, please share.
no. Yeah, I was having this recently, right? And I feel like I'm all because I'm talking to queer people. I'm talking to all types of men about these things, right? But what it
Right,
is, it, I believe that it puts a spotlight on our own fragility when we see this, right? So
right,
it's like another. It's like, so why can't a man be fragile? Because really, it's like when you see, and like, I'm not going to assume how your friends identify, but I know I've had many conversations with men who are not heterosexual, mostly, who in my lifetime, who have these things to say about the way other men express themselves. Um, and it's like, where does that come from? What is that? Is it somehow reflective upon you? Does it
well, you
make
said it earlier, culture. It's been embedded.
right? But
It literally, the negative things have been embedded.
yeah, and queer people are also capable of perpetuating patriarchal behavior. We forget that sometimes. Like, we also are, have to take a little bit of responsibility for picking up some of the traditions, but it's cultural, right? So it's not necessarily a choice. But now we come to a place where in the marketplace it's being accepted that black men want to express themselves in different ways, and it's not always tied to the way we identify sexually, or
Hmm.
how, the way we would say that. So I think
Right,
now we're coming to a place where those things are being broken down, and we have opportunities like this to have conversations and really unpack our own experiences with the parameters of what it is to be a man. Because it's like, people don't want to hear men talk about that, because yeah, we're in a patriarchal society, but
and it's
if you
all
really put
stereotypes. Right. Yeah.
absolutely, but we have to learn how to perform those things. So we have to explore it and figure out how can we stop the next generation, like you said earlier, Gen Z, or the next generation becoming
Hmm.
less and less toxic with gender,
Yes.
period. Not just masculinity, but the way we express it. And then when we even escape all of that, we really get down to the core of, like, self-care, which in itself um, is a lot of times tied to gender. And now it's men are, I don't want to say welcome, but there's a lot of language for it now, and a lot of space for men to participate in skincare, beauty, those broader forms of self-care, especially mental health, right? Because that's also something that's taboo in our culture.
Right. Of course. I mean, as you said, masculinity. We can't forget about that
Hmm.
because it's another talk. it's something that's been taught, because I've always, I'm always one, as I said earlier, to push the envelope and to stir up stuff because we've been in this mundane, everyday, societal way of life.
Right.
And if anybody dares to do something different and actually walk their truth, live their truth, it's a trap. Oh my God. It's just like I was in a discussion with some other fellow kings, and uh, one gentleman said, well, people have to learn how to be a man. I said, why would I have to learn how to be something that I was already created to be, or I already am? I said, in what realm do you mean? Because I'm like, if you mean that he has to grow up and, be able to spit and bob and weave and make money and make babies, that's far from it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like being an adult, it's so much more to be an adult than turning 21 years of age.
Absolutely.
So much more to it. And as I stated earlier, it's all been imparted, embedded, because to me, honestly, if I were to label our same gender loving African American kings who are effeminate, to me, that's a real man because it takes boldness to stand your truth.
I agree.
It takes, to me, that's always been a turn on mentally because I'm like, you can be yourself. Whether you still wear your J's, your jeans or whatever, and you still got a little swag, a little snap to you, or even if you wear fuchsia with a scarf. To me, that's bold. That's
Right.
bold, true, living truth right there. So I appreciate a man who has effeminate ways or is able just to be him,
Yeah.
be in the moment and be himself, live his truth. So I always go out of my way, per se, just to commend and let them know you're beautiful. Stay you. Don't
Absolutely.
change, for anyone or anything. Um, Now, one of the things, of course, as you mentioned earlier, you are a men's beauty and skincare advocate, um, which I think is amazing. I live for your videos. If anybody wants to watch tutorials about uh, self care and facial products and all the products that we can use, you definitely want to follow the Method Male on Instagram. I promise you, this brother will not lead you or steer you wrong. I mean, keeps the face beat, keep that shine right, keep that G flowing right there. But, but I mean, so would you share, what are some daily products that we can use as kings? And, we can, so this melanin can pop.
Yeah. Well, first thing is um, it's always you have to have all because I perform the skincare process for a living. It
Yes.
looks like you see so many things. So the first thing I always like to tell people is abandon the pop culture references of influencers, and really it really starts with the basics of understanding your own skin type, your own skincare needs, and your goals. And that doesn't have to be a broad thing. It could be as simple as, I want to make sure, to avoid masking because I wear a mask a lot for work and avoid breakouts, and I want to stay moisturized, and I have combination skin. That's a great start. And then you just want to start with the basics: cleanser, toner, moisturizer. Then maybe you want to slowly break into your serums, and but that those are the basics. There's not a particular product that I would suggest, but I would definitely suggest a very basic level. I don't, and we say basic because these are the things that you need the most. Everything around that you build, those are extra things as you learn yourself and you learn your language and you learn about active ingredients. That's when you come up with like a medicine cabinet row full of stuff. But in the very beginning, you just want to know your skin type so that you can get the proper cleanser, you can get the proper toner. You can always start with witch hazel, which is very neutral. You get a great moisturizer that works for your skin type. Even people with oily skin can use moisturizers. They have oil-free moisturizers. And
Yes.
you know, and then it, like I said, it builds up because you can use the same products for your nice skin care routine when you start. But as you start to learn more about yourself, you know, depending on where you are in your life, and that could be age or just your particular concerns, then you can say, okay, I may need a night serum. Okay, I may need, you know, you always need a sunscreen, right? Then you might want to say, oh, okay, I want to include a serum because I want to double up with my moisturizer. You know, so though to double back, these are just my suggestions.
Okay.
Knowing your skin type,
Right.
identifying what your skincare concerns are and what your goals are,
Mm-hmm.
learning what active ingredients would work for that. You can visit pages like mine, but you could also Google a lot of information. YouTube is wealth of has a wealth of knowledge and information about particular skin types. And then once you get there, you want to get your cleanser, your toner, your moisturizer, and wash your face twice a day and wear sunscreen. And that's the most important thing for African Americans and people of melanated existence, right? Because when you start to explore skincare and you start to use these certain active ingredients, let's just say dark people don't need sunscreen. All right, cool. But then when you start putting BHAs and you're using these ingredients that might make your skin more sensitive to the sunlight, and we all want to be out, right? Especially if
Right.
you need that sunscreen. Also, we are not. Um, we could also fall victim to melanoma, and that's something that's proven. Um,
Right.
and I'm not. I don't want to misquote, but you know, melanated skin only accounts for a certain amount of skin sun protection, and only certain type of sun rays. So you definitely need sun.
Right.
So I won't be long winded, but it's important
Oh,
if
please
anybody
share.
listens,
Yeah, we have
it's
we have
important.
some time.
And these are, you know, just start with your needs and just, you know, I'm all like I'm giving skincare away a lot to people, like especially my friends, and they're always surprised because it's just like three things. Like they're like, oh, I'm like, yeah, that's really all you need. And that's what I do. I use the same cleanser every day, but in my videos, I will explore new things and I do switch up a lot, but it's always the same: cleanser, toner, a serum, a moisturizer, sunscreen. Everything else is beauty.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, great information. I needed that, and I'm sure our viewers needed that as well. Now, as far as because I personally I love exfoliating products as well as a good mask.
Hmm.
And one of the treasures that I found that has worked for me is charcoal mask,
Hmm.
and they do me well. Can you expound on that? I'm pretty sure you're knowledgeable about that. Can you expound on that a little
Well,
bit? As far as the uses of charcoal mask or any type of mask, it
well,
especially for those of us, with the melanin in our skin. What would you recommend?
absolutely. Well, first, I want to. I hope that you are using a chemical exfoliant and not a physical exfoliant. Hopefully, except for
Yes,
your beard. But you know, we can talk about that. Not, and it's no shame and it's no judgment. You like that's a big thing for me. Like I'm definitely not the guy that's like, are you using this? Or like just giving information
what
and
you
just
using this for? Right, exactly.
right.
I
It's
got
like
you.
okay, you know, when you finish this, here, take. You know, I'm gonna give you this. We gonna finish that. But charcoal. I mean, well. It's something that you I mean this is the ingredients that you can use that can help the skin get rid of impurities. I am a big fan of ingesting activated charcoal. Personally, I think it's most beneficial when ingested. I don't drink a lot, but if I have a beer or if I have a glass of wine, because alcohol does not agree with me, it's not because I don't like to drink, because I do like to drink. um,
Right,
I take charcoal. I take 3 charcoal capsules every single time I drink and when I get done. So that's something like if you go get your hopefully you're not going to go and get your stomach pumped at the hospital, but they use charcoal, activated
hmm,
charcoal, because it's going to soak up all of those toxins. So this
right,
is a lot of the reasons that we use it on our skin. Um, it's not an active ingredient. You know, it's something that's probably used more to sell stuff now because everything has charcoal in it, and people use
per
that
se. Right,
base
yeah,
information because you can't really detox anywhere but in here, right? So when people say detox, I don't mind the word because I understand what is let's say we're clarifying, right? Or we're deep
right,
cleansing. So that's what
yes,
charcoal. Charcoal is another one of those ingredients that's popular that is going to be used to help you deep cleanse because it is something that is very good against toxins. But we everything depends on the amount of that ingredient in the actual product as well. Because just because
Right.
it's black and it says charcoal on the box, like any active, like niacinamide or hyaluronic acid or tea tree oil, when you look at the, and that's another one of those things that I won't get into, but learning the back of that label and figuring out where
Please.
that
Yes.
ingredient falls in that
Hmm.
stack will tell you if you're actually getting the benefit. But masking is very necessary. You can use masks for different purposes. You can use masks for moisturizing. You can use masks for brightening, for fading and toning.
Okay.
I like charcoal masks for those same purposes. I like to use it to clarify my skin. I'm on camera a lot, and because I use a lot of products, I actually break out a lot. I'm breaking out a lot right now. So I would do a charcoal mask, or a mask with charcoal in it. Or what I like to do is I like to take activated charcoal and mix it with my bentonite clay, because everybody uses the bentonite clay. That's that even people way before influencing was a thing. Everybody had that. You know, um,
Right.
it's like the next level. Remember mint julep? There's people kind of got
Yes, of course.
like,
Right.
oh, we need to use like a real, great mask. So I would mix charcoal with my bentonite clay. I don't use apple cider vinegar. I'll use water, or I like to use rose water, and I'll use
Yes.
that as a mask.
Yes.
That really helps. That's gonna like help give your skin a tighter appearance. Pores don't open and close, but it,
Especially rose hemp oil, because I use that on my body. That's awesome.
right. And you can put oils in that mask mixture as well. Like you could put rose
Right.
oil, use your rose water, activated charcoal. I mean, what is it going to do for our skin? Like it's going to give that bright. And when I say bright, look at our skin first. Like bright don't mean white. Okay,
No,
we know that,
thank
and
you for that clarification. Yes.
it's a word that's used a lot. And because I get products sometimes. I work with a lot of brands, and I'll get a product that says brightening, and my eyebrow goes up because I'm like, what you mean? You know what I'm
Like what that, you're right. What is that?
like, because I've seen stuff and brands it'll say brightening on the product, and I've gone to people's sites and it says whitening, and I'm like, wow. But when we say bright, we're talking about even tone. We're talking about glow. And
Right.
you certain masks like sheet masking, using your clay mask is going to clarify your skin so that when you apply your products, it's going to glow, right? When you're exfoliating, you're resurfacing your skin. You're getting rid of those layers of dead skin so that your skin can regenerate and be it can it can glow. That's the word that's most used, but that's the word that I think is the most appropriate for our skin, and that's what we
Right.
want to do. And that is in any condition. Okay, if you don't have the perfect skin texture, that's fine. If you have acne, that's fine. If you have scars or discoloration, that's fine. Having healthy skin is about it being at its best, and taking care of it in the process. So you can get that glowing skin. It doesn't have to be perfect or free of blemishes through masking, using your regular bentonite clay, being careful with the use of apple cider vinegar. It's something that I used a lot in the beginning of my videos. But see, I feel like I was doing things properly, but when you don't educate people,
Right.
that's when you got to start giving people more information. Because as a content creator, I don't want to say influencer, but I'm going to say influencer because, in a literal sense, everything I put out there or any of us put out there has an impact on somebody that's learning from us. So,
True.
yeah, I'm saying all of this to just answer your question, but also let's
Oh
just
no, you're doing excellent. But I want to take a quick shift
right,
because a multitude of us, I'll say,
hmm
focus on the outer appearance, but
right,
yet our mental wellness is off key and off balance.
hmm
What do you do that you can share for your mental wellness and mental balance, as well as self care?
uh, well, first of all, I prioritize my mental health. I understand that for me, that is something that's absolutely necessary. Um, I have a therapist. I think that's very important. And even when I'm not seeing a therapist, there's a lot of work that's being done. A lot, like you might see me on Instagram, but in between those videos, I'm a human being, right? And
Right.
I'm not living my life through beauty products. I'm not living my life through trying to be cute or trying to have the best skin. I'm actually working on myself.
Your
That
best self. Right.
I could get to the next, okay, I get 1 million followers. If I'm not mentally whole within myself, I don't think any all of that work, we've seen it happen time and time again with pop stars or even small level public figures. So I
Right.
absolutely make my mental health a priority because I understand that even with all of this cool stuff going on, I still
Hmm.
know there are things that I need to work on. Like I come from South Philly. I come from Tasker Projects. Y'all know I done seen some stuff. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm not from Springfield here. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
there's a
The
lot.
Upper East Side. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So
I feel you. Trust
I
me, because
know
South Central LA right here. So I get it.
right. So
Trust me.
it's important for me to see a therapist. It's important for me to have a language about
Thank you.
my
Mhm.
experience that I'm having. I have those 2 to 3 people that I can tell every. I don't no bullshit. Excuse my language.
You're fine. You're
I don't
good.
have I don't have to I don't have to be pretentious and act like the dude on Instagram for these people. I can tell them, even if I just posted a bomb video, I can call them 5 minutes later and let them know how I'm feeling. That's something that's a huge part of my regimen. Calling my grandmother who raised me on a regular is a big part of my mental health regimen because hearing that Philly accent, hearing that loud TV in the background, that's where I come from. And it's important for me to remember that no matter how far I get in my career, I'm still that little boy from South Philly that my grandmother raised. And it's important for me to remember that so that I can stay grounded, not
Mhm.
within my career, but just as a human being. As things
Right.
progress in the world, as I start to love myself and believe my own hype, it's important for me to always remember who I really am outside of all of the noise. And so with that being said, I have to listen to my feelings, my thoughts. And when I know I'm not in my best place, I will tap into my therapist. I will tap into those friends. I will pray. I will write.
Yes. Yes.
And I will
Yes.
jump into the method mail videos are a huge part of my self-care because I love to do it. Right. And I love to when I'm not doing it, I'm working on it. But there was a time where it really helped to take me to the next level. So,
Right.
I would answer, I would wrap that up to say, I practice my passion because if I don't, as an artist, I'm not very happy. So the method man
Understand.
doing these videos before I make a dime, before I get a view, or before I do a video for a brand, whether it's paid or not, I'm performing because I live to perform. So that's also a
This is
huge
your
part.
passion. Right. Right.
That's a huge part of prioritizing my mental health outside of that little face that I put in that box. You know,
Right. Because I mean, so many times we've heard, if you look good, you feel good. True enough. But yet we also have to deal with and confront is one of my major words. Confront those things those storms that are
right,
going on the inside.
right,
Because at any given moment, something unfortunately can peak that, can pierce that, and then all of a sudden you have a wide, full on mess. So, the importance of self care and mental wellness go hand in hand. Because I've even shared with other people personally, I'm like, when I take out the time to do my mask and my scrubs, my body scrubs, and the whole nine, that's therapy for me,
right,
as well as seeing a therapist, as well as prayer meditation time, uh, zoning out, turning everything off,
right.
just being with self.
I, I'll even go as far as to say because I'm very public about, I have dealt with depression, and so and the reason I'm going to say
Thank
this,
you for
I,
sharing.
no, absolutely, because I want to leave the beauty stuff for a second because of that
Please.
experience. Because instead of saying I prioritize my mental health, because that's like such a vague statement. The reason that I do this is because of my experience with depression and um being lucid enough to know that it's not where I want to be, and to do whatever work I need to do to make sure that I'm in a good place. Now that's the past for me now, but I've been there, and it's something that I have, even when I was a young adult and I didn't understand what it was, and other people had to come to me and point my behavior out to me for me to even have some idea that it may have even been something. Then you want to get to the part where when I talk to the person who took care of me, the immediate response was, "Well, I did the best I can do," and I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm talking to you about me." But this,
Right.
I'm sure we all can. But so I'm sharing this extra to say this is why I prioritize my mental health, because I know even outside of being all, you want to, yeah, I want to pursue my career. Yeah, I'm working. The method mail is growing. I just got a manager. An intern just fell on my lap. That's great,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
that's all
Well
fantastic.
deserving. Yeah.
But it's the biggest cliche in the world. But the foundation, though, and for some of us is for everyone is something different. And because I know what I've already been predisposed to as a when in my younger years, I know what type of work I need to at least seek. And when you're developing a regimen for prioritizing your mental health, it's not going to come overnight, because you need to live in order to even know and make mistakes a few times to know, like, okay, well, like I know for me, I need to go to a therapist. Maybe for the next person, talking to their brother is absolutely what they need, having that person that they can speak to. But I know in my experience, I put a lot of work into seeking out a therapist for a very particular reason for me. So all of us, beauty, and I feel guilty sometimes because I don't get to talk enough about the method male. I did a video with Maybelline recently, and I said that the method male was born in the therapist's office, and it was. Um, the method male is about me finding myself through these things from a dark place. Is and that's it could be diluted because it is everything it is, and I'm happy for that. But let's
Right.
not forget, every man's journey starts inside, where no one can see him before we had phones and all this stuff. So those are things I still find to be important, to make sure that I unlearn a lot of the trauma that I may have seen or seen others, you know, um, because of my environment that I grew up in, learning different relationships with money, learning different relationships with, and feeling comfortable. Lastly, being okay with wanting more and feeling like, I deserve more, and feeling worthy of more in any
Yeah.
sense. Because those are like poverty isms of feeling like, well, this is okay. I'm cool with just this. I can make this work. And I had to learn how to ask for more and not feel guilty to ask God, like, can I have a little bit more? And so those are all things that are an important part of my process before you even get to skin and hair and my physical being. And it's important for me to share that with you and whoever is
Yes.
watching this.
Yes. I mean, I'm so humbled that you would share that, first of all, and I totally concur because, as I always say, and state and post and preach, uh, per se, love starts with us first. Starts
Mm-hmm.
here. If it's not there or unbalanced, whoever you are is going to show and project. Just like when you gain success.
Mm-hmm.
I learned this being in the entertainment industry years ago. Whoever you really truly are, money only allows you to be that personified. So if you're nice, positive energy, giving, all of those great things, that's who you'll be personified.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're the opposite, the same. So somewhere along the line, there has to be daily self-evaluation, mental checks, mental pauses, um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay to not be okay. That's one of the lessons I had to teach myself. You're in this place, especially, I'm not only spiritual, but also very encouraging, inspirational, and I pursue to give that to myself. But sometimes it's like, no, that's not what you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to learn how to be okay with that,
I think it's important
process through it.
for, especially though, a lot of many Black queer men in particular, for many reasons. You know, these different existences that we walk in have things that we might need to address through different. You know, like I said, for everyone it's different. But I always suggest if you are pursuing any type of career that's going to demand a lot of you, even if it is going to make you rich and famous, work on yourself, because we've seen so many people get there, and we watch unsung all day, you know.
Yes,
And I like
yes.
that's kind of freaks me out. But the one thing I'll take away from it, I'm like, okay, cool. Let me address my stuff now. So if I ever am blessed with, you know, success in a larger sense, at least I'll have those things in the front of me. Um,
Hmm.
but and that's even if you just want to work at a bank. It's important, you know. They say when you start before I start a relationship, I'm gonna work on myself. How come we ain't trying to start work on ourselves before? You know, why it always got to be in preparation for somebody else?
I mean, we hit on it earlier. We live in a society where everything on the outside counts.
Hmm.
How you look, how you present yourself, the whole nine shebang. But as far as inner, especially among the African American community, if you were seeing per se as what they call a shrink, oh, he crazy. No, I'm working on myself
Yeah,
to become a greater self. So it's just, you dealing with isms, you dealing with all types of things. And the things, once again, those things that have been embedded, imparted into us. So going to see a therapist, oh, they must be a little unbalanced. Hey, that might be true, but at least I'm doing something about it.
right. You know, unbalanced self, you know. I've had people tell me, and it's funny because it's somebody who now on Instagram is doing a lot of community work and they touch on mental health. But I will never forget one day I was you know, around this person, and I had said like, oh, you know, I'm not going to the therapist anymore, this particular therapist. And they were like, oh, good. Because you know, when you and it wasn't like I'm going around telling everybody, hey, I'm going to the therapist, but my inner circle may be aware. But the way she said it, it was almost like when she heard it, she was like, oh, good, because I always wanted to tell you you ain't need to go to one. And I just was like, you know, and
Wow.
it didn't hurt my feelings or anything, but it was just like, damn, is that what you wanted to say all this time? Like, why you
Yeah, it brought you to some truth. It alerted you of some truth. Yeah, somebody's
but
true feelings.
she
Yeah,
this person has grown, and you know, it's less about people thinking you're crazy, because this is the thing, it's not about what people are going to think about you anymore. You know, this is something I'm always telling people, you know, whether it's like you know, one of my friends needs a bag for work. I'm like, oh, just get a tote bag. I don't know what kind of bag to get. I don't want people to think I got a bag that somebody's aunt would have. Why are we so consumed? You know, I know why. I,
yeah. We know
that's
we know why. Because,
not,
like I said, yeah,
I'm not condemning the person for having the thought, but I have to be really aggressive with why I have him on the phone. Is like, okay, let's unpack that, and let's get to the bottom of, first of all, these people ain't gonna be thinking that. So, you know, we know why we think that. So when we talk about our mental health, when we talk about our self-care, and we start to look at what people might think of us, and we start to think about stigma, we have to start to incorporate a language of maybe being less concerned with people with, because that's a part of, you can't
you
on
can't live for people. You can't.
on
You,
your on your mental health journey and your self-care journey, you have to learn to quiet those self-critical voices that you usually project on the other people, like that person.
true,
And as you learn
true.
to do that, it's again, it's not caring what people think, because we all care what people think. It's being concerned to where it may hinder your growth or your self-expression, or you know,
Right.
that song you might write, or the nail color you might want to put on, or the bag you might want to carry, or the fact that you want to finally go and address an issue with
Speaking
a,
of nail color, brother, your nail polish is popping, bro. I love it. I love it. I love it, man. I mean, yes. Thank you. Yes, that rocks. I love it. Hair is popping, the look is popping. You got it. But I mean, in all honesty, we've been shaped to be excellent, but to be excellent for man's approval, not for ourselves. I can go many places with that, but we don't have the time. But I mean, it just, especially coming from such a structured home, a religious home, and everything had to be, dot your I's, cross your T's, make sure your P's and Q's are right, make sure the verbiage is right, and make sure you're professing the correct thing, and all these things you have to be. Because one of the things that now I will say this, I will never regret the things that I learned about God in the spiritual realm.
Mm-hmm.
But I invested so much time into that, I forgot and didn't know how to get to know Damian Micheal. So for years I was this, thinking I was this.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same thing in all of our especially African American upbringing. Oh, you don't want so and so to think you this way or that way, so you got to look like this. Who are they paying my rent? You
Yeah.
know, uh, and it just like I really now since I'm such a man and a king that is so out of the box and comfortable in it. It's been a long time getting here, but brothers, now that I'm here and now that I know that I'm beautiful and that I rock and the list goes on, there's absolutely no turning back.
Right.
Uh, you couldn't pay me to get this up.
And I often see you express that in the
Yes,
way you know display yourself, in the way you talk about other men and other people in the world. And if I could say anything, just to because I know it's going to wrap up soon.
oh, please share.
Because if we're talking about, this goes to anyone, but where I'm going to address men, especially,
Hmm.
and where does this leave us? You know, like I said, when it comes to the skincare piece and the beautification piece, find out what you want to do, what you need. Your beard
For
scrub.
you,
If you want to get rid of your ingrown hairs, look, go to the Method Man on Instagram. But through me or through any, like I said, YouTube, searching these words on Instagram, figuring out things that you need. Don't feel like you need to buy a bunch of stuff because you don't. And then if in any way, and it doesn't, self-care is not always about mental health, and mental health is not always about seeing a therapist. It's just
right?
about having a recipe for, we say your best self, right? And that's
Yes,
that's
for
that's
own self
fluid and it
balance. Yes,
changes. So I just invite men to tap into the possibilities that exist today, because we are arriving in different spaces, especially for Black men and gay men, to express ourselves outside of the boundaries and just play.
yes.
And the reason that I chose,
Thank
well,
you for saying that. Hmm.
oh, the reason that I choose beauty, and particularly beauty, to express that, is because all of those years as a kid, I just little these just I wish I could do this stuff. I would like a video with Maybelline, like that. Just for me, it just I'm
Brother, there's no wishing for us. It will happen. You're on the right road. There's no wishing for us. We don't have to wish anything. All we have to do is just do it. Speak it and do it. You
right,
you already have it. So yeah, I mean,
right,
and that's what we have to share, with our people.
yeah.
Everything you
Just
said. Yeah, we
go
have to
out
share that.
there, express yourself, and if you want, if and embrace beauty, embrace that word, embrace the meaning, what it means to you, claim it, be it. You know, wash your face, take care of your body in a way that is best for you, whatever that means. If that means working out, if that means what you eat, do it for you, but do it.
Yes,
And
yes,
especially as men, no matter who you love, there's no gender or sexuality tied to any of these things. Like if you want to put on some fingernail polish, do it. And
rock
it
it.
really is easy as that, because what you'll
Right.
find, there are many women that love men that are just themselves, right? And you'll find many
Mhm.
men that love men that are just themselves. So the joy and the key is really to just find a way for us to get to a place where we can be ourselves as much as possible. No matter, like, and it, I'm it could take us 30, 40, who knows, but let's get there. Let's get to a place where at least today we could not give a F about what our past selves or toxic masculinity or society is going to think about something that we do today, even if it's display your emotion, or even if it's to disclose that you're not feeling your best or that you're sad or to cry. That really is that's the method. It's just about starting on that process to get you to that next place, whatever that might be.
Truth, truth. I have to say, brother, I'm elated that you're here. Um, you, to me, are one of the epitomes for us kings. We can look and see you to not only draw light from you, but see our beautiful selves through you. And I affirm you. I appreciate you for all that you do. Um, because every time I see one of your videos, of course, as I stated earlier to our viewers, you have to look him up on Instagram, the Method Male. Absolutely amazing. He gives, especially for us brothers, he gives us step by step bullet points how to, what to do, when to do it, and the products as well that work for our skin. Um, which to me, honestly, whenever I come across your page or I see one of your posts, I become enlightened, but also I receive positive energy because we need that. Because a lot of us forget whoever you are, whatever in you, when you're before the people, it projects forward. So that's why those of us who are on the front line, who do have podcasts and shows and major social media accounts, we have to be mindful of the seeds that we plant because every deed we do is a seed planted, whether it be positive or negative. Um, just thank you. Thank you for being you. I appreciate that.
Thank
I need you, and I'm sure everybody else needs you as well that follows you. And do you have anything coming up that we can follow or watch or support?
you. Yes, well, they're growing right now. IGTV series Method 101, which ironically is about just teaching the basics of skincare. I'm not talking to other influencers. I'm talking to people who just walked in the room and want to get on board. So that'll be launching soon. I'm
Yes.
writing for USA Today now, so I'm really excited for that. And
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
It's just I'm writing for review.
Maybelline, here you come, brother. There you
Oh well,
go.
actually I already
L'Oreal.
worked with them twice already. But no,
Awesome.
Method
Awesome.
101, and you can check me out at USA Today. What I'm doing there is just helping people learn how to use what they already have better, or to make better product purchasing decisions, which I think is really great because you really want to get down to helping people use the money that they have and the choices that they can make wisely instead of just buy this, just really helping people be wise. So you can check me out there, but look out for Method 101.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Every word that you have spoken tonight has been life giving. Thank you so much again. And please say you'll come back. We have to have you back on
I'll
Working
be
Out
back.
with Damian Micheal. Awesomeness. Thank you so much. And I'll be talking to you soon.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Let's do that again. Come on. Inhale, exhale. All is well. I just want to remind all of you that you're beautiful. The ultimate expression of love and beauty through God is you. You're the living expression of beautiful. I don't care what you look like. Know that you yourself are necessary. You're beautiful. You're loved. And for those of you who, like some of us, as our fellow King Salim Singleton expressed, dealing with depression or high anxiety, and the list goes on, know that you're not alone. There's someone waiting for your call to either be a listening ear or a word of advice. We have two realms you can try. You can start with the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. That is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. And let us not forget NAMI.org. That's www.nami.org. This has been a great show. I'm so excited. Um, remember, your existence, your life is necessary. Make sure you wear your mask, stay safe. Please wear a mask once again and stay safe. Distance yourself. Because at this point in time, we can no longer think about ourselves. We have to think about our fellow man. All right? I love you. Until next time, this is Damian Michael Williams, King Damian Michael Williams, and you are watching Working It Out with Damian Michael. God bless you. Good night.